It is. Good afternoon. As chair of the Marion County School Board, I welcome each of you here today, as well as those who may be watching this video at home. In November 2022, Marion County voters approved the renewal of the 1 mil ad valorem millage. That renewal means the referendum will continue from July 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2027. The millage provides necessary operating expenses, including safe schools, reading, physical education, art, music, library, media, and vocational programs, meeting class size requirements, and retaining state-certified teachers and paraprofessionals with oversight of these expenditures by an independent citizens financial oversight committee. Today, October 18th, 2023, is the first meeting of the Independent Citizens Financial Oversight Committee, also known as ICROC, for this 2023 through 2027 millage renewal. Before we get into the heart of the agenda, I would ask that we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Marion County School Board members each choose 2 representatives and 1 alternate to make up this committee. Some individuals have served in this capacity on previous ICROCs, and some have not. At this time, while taking roll call, as I call your name, I ask that each of you take a brief moment to introduce yourselves, perhaps share where you work, if you have children or grandchildren in the district, and possibly how long you have served on this ICROC, if applicable. So I will start with District 1, our District 1 Representative, Marion Collins. If you would please introduce yourself to your fellow colleagues here.
I'm Marion Collins. I have 2 sons in the school district, and I am in medical sales, and this is my 2nd year on the ICROC committee.
Thank you. District 1 Representative Jane Morley.
Good afternoon. My name is Jane Morley. I have served on the board probably, since 2016, 17. So very, very long time. And I'm a health insurance agent, and I have seen my kids gone through the public school system, so I'm very involved in the school district. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Morley. Representing District 5, we have Ken Osley.
Hi, Ken Osley, Osley Construction. I'm a graduate of the Marion County Public Schools. My children as well, they're all grown now. And this is my first meeting.
Welcome.
Good to be here.
Thank you. District 3 Representative Diana Williams.
Hi, I'm Diana Williams. I'm a financial advisor. I've been on this committee since its inception. I've had 4 kids go successfully through the Marion County Public School System, and they have wonderful careers in Marion County. And I have 4 grandchildren, with the first one in kindergarten at 8th Street Elementary School, so I'm excited to have them go through the public school system too. I'm glad to be here tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. District 3 Representative Pastor Richard Howard.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm Richard Howard Sr., pastor of New St. Mary Missionary Baptist Church. I graduated, of course, from Forest High School, and all of my children graduated from Forest High School. My wife is employed with the Marion County School Board, and I have 16 grandchildren in the Marion County school system.
Thank you,
This is
Pastor.
our first year.
Thank you, Pastor Howard. And we also have a District 2 Representative, Jennifer Eggers.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Eggers. I am a photographer. I have 2 high school students in the Marion County Public School System.
Thank you so much.
Did I say it's my first meeting?
Okay, great. So we have some folks that have been with us since the inception, one that's been with us for a couple of years, and a couple of others that this is their first meeting. So this is a great group we have, and we do have other representatives that were unable to be with us this evening, but I'm certain that we will see more faces as this committee continues to meet. So thank you again to all of you for serving your community and our school system in this important role. Your school board appreciates your service. I'll now ask the school board attorney to assist us with the next couple of items on the agenda today. Hi, Attorney Powers.
Hello, good afternoon. During the September 26, 2023 Marion County School Board meeting, the school board approved updated bylaws for this board committee, a copy of which is provided to each of you today. It's my role to share with you a few of the items that have been changed from previous ICROC bylaws. First, the new ballot language has been updated reflective of what Dr. Campbell shared in her opening today. Secondly, terms of membership are now 2-year terms with an option for reappointment for the remaining 2 years of the term for this 4-year referendum. 3, we now have language to assist as to when this initial meeting is to occur, as well as that the school board attorney and school board chair assist in this first meeting. Number 4, the duties and responsibilities of the ICROC chairperson, vice chairperson, and secretary, which you'll be voting on in just a moment, have been updated and made a little more clear. Number 5, the bylaws now require 4 meetings a year, but do not specify that those meetings have to be exactly on a quarter basis. We have found some meeting times have been less attended than others, so the school board did not want to force this committee into a quarterly structure. 6, additionally, one of the ICROC chair's responsibilities will be to create and provide an annual report of this committee's work to the school board. Are there any questions about these bylaws before proceeding into elections for officers? Yes.
The report, is that something that's been done and that's a normal thing? That's not a new thing, or is it?
It's not new, right?
Okay.
That is.
Is that normally, for those who've served on this board, is there help within staff for that report? Is it created just by this board? How's that done?
It's, the chairman puts together the report and send it over to the members to get the review on it, and then it's being submitted to the school board.
Okay.
Which, I'm working on that.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Morley is our previous outgoing chair, or she stepped into the chairmanship. Part of the adjustment of the bylaws was to clarify the things that the chairman and vice chairman, all the responsibilities, because that had not been previously indicated in the bylaws. And so the chairperson, in conjunction with the vice chair and the secretary, compile the annual report then to be provided to the school board. But much of it is coming from the minutes and things from these meetings. And so because we have a quorum today, there'll be minutes of this meeting. And so much of it comes from those reports.
How extensive is that process for you?
Very extensive.
So is it more just accumulating the data, or are you writing narrative as well, or writing?
Do write some narratives on what was discussed and the overall projection and the overall achievements.
Sample prior ones available.
Yeah, we have I have samples of the prior ones available.
Yes,
I'm going to go off on that.
right.
And the amendment to the bylaws was more to ensure that there was a single person who was responsible for sort of guiding and initiating that process, but certainly it's expected to be a group effort.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes, because essentially it is a report from the entire committee saying this is how we provided oversight to the things the district shared with us throughout this year.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, we'll open the floor for nominations of the chair for ICROC. Are there any nominations?
I'd like to nominate Ken Osley as chair.
I second.
Oh, my God.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded.
I second.
Wow.
Your third.
I was ambushed.
All in favor of Mr. Owsley for chair, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. Passes with the entirety of the quorum. At this time, we'll open the floor for nominations for vice chair of ICROC. Here's your turn to get some get-backs there. Are there any other nominations?
Yes, Diana Williams,
I second.
vice.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded for Diana Williams to be vice chair for the ICROC committee. Are there any other nominations? Okay, then all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, nay. All right, motion passes. At this time, we'll open the floor for nominations for secretary of ICROC. Are there any nominations?
I'd I'd like to nominate Jane Morley.
No. Yes. So you're not accepting that nomination, okay?
Do you accept the nomination or no? If not, are there any other nominations?
Did she say no?
I think she said no.
I guess I can do it.
Okay, a nomination has been accepted. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And all opposed? Nay? Okay, motion passes. At this time, we'll be turning the meeting over to the new chair, Mr. Owsley. So congratulations.
Thank you.
See how this works, this committee works here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Here's your script.
All right.
Start right there. And here's the vice chair. There you go. Thank you.
Well, thank you for this opportunity, as it says here on the script. At this time, I wish to acknowledge that the committee has received the notes from the previous ICROC meeting held in July. Due to no quorum being present, the notes are not official minutes, but are provided for your review. Thank you to Jane Morley for putting those together for us. I will now ask Superintendent Dr. Diane Gullett to offer a welcome. Superintendent.
Good evening. Congratulations, Chair, members of the committee. I would like to extend a heartfelt welcome back to our returning members and welcome to our new members. I have the distinct honor and privilege of representing 45,000 students in this community. And it's a privilege to come and welcome you and thank you for your service. And we are, as we talked about earlier tonight, you're going to hear shortly a presentation from my team, from the operations team, of the work that we're doing, because we have a very grateful community. And how we use the funds, I think you'll begin to see how we're monitoring that for impact for our students, and how grateful we are. You'll get to see firsthand what that looks like. But I want to share tonight, with just a few minutes before I turn it over to our amazing Chief Financial Officer and our team standing behind me and sitting behind me, that a core part of the referendum is about safety. And I believe that our community renewed the referendum in part because of how important safety is for our staff, our students, our volunteers, our visitors. And because of the recency of this, I want to share this with you tonight. Last Saturday, I had the opportunity to be on a guided tour of Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in the building where the tragedy occurred, February 14th of 2018. It was a visit that I felt like I needed to do. Superintendents and elected officials from not just Florida, but around the country were invited. And I share that because it's important to understand what happened. I don't take safety lightly. And seeing firsthand in this building that has been frozen in time since that awful date was important for me as a superintendent to ensure that we're doing everything possible to prevent a tragedy from occurring in Marion County. So there will be some things I will talk about later. More to come, some conversations I've begun to have, because while safety has always been critically important to me, the lens I was able to see through is different than I can begin to describe firsthand. And so I consider it a blessing and an opportunity that was given to me to invest the time in looking at it with a new pair of eyes. And I say that just because safety is part of this referendum, and it's important to examine how we do and what we do, in addition to all the other things you're going to hear about tonight. But I wanted to share that with all of you. And so when those requests come and some of the shifts occur, perhaps with safety, and some of the extended conversations evolve, I wanted you to have some context to why. So I thank you for your service. We are here to support, provide information that you may need, but I am grateful for your leadership and your role in helping us to continue to strengthen what we do in Marion County. And I think that is our responsibility to do that for our whole community and for our staff and students. So thank you. So, Mr. Chair, I'll turn it over to you because I know we have a team with a lot of great information to share. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Gullett. At this time, Chief Financial Officer Teresa Boston Ellis will offer a presentation to the committee. Ms. Boston Ellis.
Good afternoon. I too want to thank those of you who volunteered or were voluntold by one of our board members. We do not take your volunteerism lightly, and we do appreciate that you are providing your time to hear what we are doing with the referendum dollars. We want to thank you for this opportunity to share with you what we believe is always exciting news, exciting things that are happening at Marion County Public Schools. And this is our first quarter for 2023-24. We, again, are thankful for your participation, and we're eager for you to see what we're doing. Our great programs continue now, and our students also who attend charter schools have been included in the allocation. That's something that is new this year. They receive allocations not only from the referendum, but also from our capital dollars as well. You have several handouts from us. One of them is the final report for the 22-23 year. When we presented in July, we were still going through our closing document, so we like to present that to you, not for discussion, but so that you have that final document of total expenditures and revenue received in that year. You also have what we call a quarterly listing of our staff. We call them units for the 22-23 year. That is something you will see quarterly. It will be updated. It provides the budgeted units as well as the actual units. There is a third document as well, backup documentation. One of the members of the committee asked that we show a schedule that shows not only the units or staff in the referendum, but also those that are in the general fund. And then the last item that I'll mention is this actual PowerPoint presentation. We'd be happy to answer any questions that you have today. And if you need additional discussion on these documents, feel free to give us a call or ask today. So even with all of this information, the only thing that we're going to review today is the first quarter for 23-24. And I have a lot of help today. Ms. Christy Dixon, she is a health educator, and she will be presenting the physical education presentation. Dr. Ann Hembrook, who is a senior executive director, Student Pathways, she will be presenting the vocational program. Mr. Aaron Martin, who is a program specialist with Media Center, he will be discussing our media activities. And Ms. Brooke Hutto, who is a coordinator of fine arts, she will discuss our fine arts visual as well as the fine arts performing arts. Ms. Shawana Hughes, who is our Director of Professional Leadership and Learning, will discuss professional leadership and learning that is funded through the referendum. And then last but not least, Mr. Dennis McFadden, who is our Executive Director of Safety and Security, will be discussing safe schools. So we'll start out and come up in that order. But to get started, just a reminder, as Dr. Gullett said, the referendum was renewed in November 2022 for the next 4 years. So this is our first year of the second renewal. Our allowable uses of expenses, as you are well aware, pertain to reading, physical education, library media, vocational programs, meet class size, retain state certified teachers, paraprofessionals, and of course, school safety. On the first slide, you'll see collections and expenditures. And just as a note, our actual expenditures since the inception of the referendum, the total revenue is $164.3 million. The total expenditures are $151.6 million. And our budget for the current year, for revenue, we are estimating $33.5 million, and expenditures, we are estimating $37.5 million as well. Because the majority of the revenue that comes in begins in the month of November, you will see that we have received about $42,000, and that's typically late payments from the prior year. And also, we have spent about $4.8 million, and I will elaborate on that a little bit later for those who are new to this committee. So our adopted budget, $33.5 million for revenue and $37.5 million for expenditures. This is a pictorial look at all of the different programs that are funded through the referendum. As I stated earlier, our total budgeted expenditures are $37.5 million. As you can see, the majority of the expenditures, or I would say the top two, include class size teachers and paras at $18.3 million, and of course safe schools is $8 million. The remaining programs range between $1 million and $2.9 million, and these are budgeted expenditures. This one is always a little hard to see, but these are the actual expenditures by program, by year. And as you can see, again, the majority is in class size, which includes teachers and paras, but then we also, you can also see, safety was brought in that first renewal, and it's in second place in terms of budgeted expenditures. So our ending fund balance for the prior year is $12.7 million, and the referendum is restricted for referendum only. So if there are any remaining funds from a prior year, those are attached to the new budget. So the beginning fund balance is $12.7 million. That's carryover of what it was at the end of 22-23. Again, we've budgeted $33.5 million in revenue. And in case you're wondering how we come up with that number, that is that 1 mil. That is a function of the property taxes. And this is what we're estimating based on proposed collections. The budget expenditures are $37.5 million. So we are anticipating that our budgeted fund balance at the end of 23-24 will be approximately $8.8 million. Again, if any funds that are remaining will be rolled over into the next year. And this number is important because we do not receive tax collections, the large amount, until the months of November and December. So fund balance from the prior year is used to fund these programs until we start receiving tax collections. So let's start out with really why we're here, and that is our students. And our first program is class size, and that includes not only our teachers, but also our paraprofessionals. We had originally budgeted 103 teachers. As of the end of September, we had 152 actual teachers. We originally budgeted 179 paraprofessionals. As of the end of September, we had hired 166 paraprofessionals. So at this point in the budget, we had spent about $13.8 million, and that is between salary and employee benefits. I would like to note that charter schools are also included, and they presented us a budget of about $99,000. What we will do in the future, once they start spending these dollars, is to carve out and let you know also what they are doing with these funds. But they understand that they have to follow the letter of the law in terms of what the resolution or referendum was approved for. Just as an FYI. For physical education, we have Christy Dixon, who is a health educator, and I would like to invite her up to the podium.
Good afternoon. As you can see from this slide, quarter one of our physical education teachers are focused on creating classroom routines and procedures that lay the framework for a successful year. Physical educators have a unique opportunity to build relationships with every student on their campus, and they are truly the heart of the child-centered learning. Our PE professionals are tasked with establishing consistent expectations and learning spaces for students to build their physical fitness in a safe and fun environment. The referendum makes it possible to fill our schools with quality instructors that fill this need on our campus. We're off to a great start this year. As you can see, this is 4 different schools. These are all elementary schools. But during quarter one, our physical education teachers are also assessing every 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders right now with the cardiovascular pacer test. It's a progressive aerobic cardiovascular endurance run. This exciting test that the students look forward to every year. Now, the pacer test is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test that progressively gets more difficult as it continues by decreasing the amount of time you're given to complete each shuttle from line to line. These runners set goals. They're able to fulfill their personal goals and to work towards them throughout the year. And then in quarter 4, we will then again run this test and measure their success. This is just a little bit of what's happening during quarter 1. And there's a lot of other exciting opportunities happening in physical education, and we just want to thank you for that.
Thank you. I might mention that Ms. Dixon is subbing, if you would, for Charity Corneliusson, who is typically the speaker for program specialist for physical education, but I thought she did a great job. For what the funding for referendum supports, 21 teachers originally budgeted at 22, and 24 PE technicians who are considered assisting PE teachers in larger classes. Originally budgeted at 26, 24 are actual as of the end of September. Again, charter schools submitted budgets for $120,000 of this total budget of $2.9 million, and it is made up of salary benefits. There are some purchase services, and also materials and supplies. For materials and supplies, each elementary school is allocated $2 depending on the number of students they have. So if they have 100 students, they're going to get $2 times 100 is 200. Yes?
Are charter schools designated the same amount per student?
They are provided an allocation that was provided to us by the Department of Education. We take the entire allocation and we look at the FTE for the full-time equivalent, basically the number of students at the charter schools divided by all students in Marion County Public Schools, come up with a ratio, and then multiply that times the funding that is available to us. So they're funded differently than what we do. Did I ask your question? Did I answer it? Okay.
I'm wondering, are they applying for grants, so to speak, and so that they could overload one versus the other, or is it split about evenly compared to the public school?
I wouldn't say it's split evenly, but how we are required to allocate it based on the number of students to our total number of students times the revenue that generated from the referendum. That's how we are required to allocate those dollars. They do participate in other grants that we have, all of the entitlements, Title I, Title II, Title IV, all of those grants, they do participate in that based on, federal guidelines, if that's what you're asking. But they can write for grants and do other kind of programs as well. Okay. The next program is the vocational program, and it will be presented by Dr. Hembrook, who is our Senior Executive Director of Student Pathways.
Good evening. So vocational programs are really, really exciting because these are part of our career technical education programs for our students at middle and high schools. And what these programs do is it provides an insight to our students about various different career paths and the skills that they would need for those particular career paths. So it opens up different opportunities for students. I wish I could talk about all of our CTE programs, but for time I can only highlight a couple. So the slide that you see on the screen here with some of these pictures, this is from Bellevue High's Advanced Manufacturing Program, and recently the Marion Regional Manufacturers Association visited the Bellevue High Advanced Manufacturing in the classroom. And during these particular visits, the students were able to display their projects to the Regional Manufacturers Association visitors, and they were also able to demonstrate the specific skills that they've learned in the classroom. This particular program covers skills all the way from creating designs in SolidWorks to CNC machining and robotics. And having the hands-on equipment is really critical for students to work on, and it's just imperative to that program. And because of the referendum funding, we are able to provide the students with a variety of those equipments and projects that they can learn on. Here is another example. So again, keeping up with technology, and as I'm sure you all know how quickly technology changes, but keeping up with technology is really important for our students so that when they exit these programs, they're up to date on what's out there in their career fields. And so making sure that we have the proper industry standards equipment is very important, and we also know that it can be an expensive undertaking as well. So one big push or request that we've had from our CTE teachers is to really update some of the equipment in the classroom for their respective areas, and computer labs is one of those particular areas. So what you see here on the screen is a sample of one of the labs that with referendum funding we were able to update for our digital video technology programs. This lab was recently updated, and these students recently had the opportunity, because of some of these updates, to participate in the first annual Ocala Film Derby. And this event was headed by Lori Zink, and it was a collaborative effort that was put on by our Business Advisory Committee for digital video design. And during this event, students were partnered up with students from other schools, and they were given some props and a time frame, and they had to develop and create their film, shoot the film, and then record and edit their film as well. It was a competition, and then these videos were shared with the community. Teachers and family members came to the Marion Theater. And all of that was able to be provided to our students because their success in that program was because of the specialized AV equipment that they have in the classroom that led to their success of that event. And I know, as I said, those are just two examples, but this slide really depicts a lot of the programs that referendum dollars go to support for our CTE classrooms. On this slide are all of the pathways that listed above for both students in middle and high school. Referendum dollars supports our teachers in these programs with equipment. It helps provide technology and even training for our teachers as well. And without without referendum fundings, the gains and expansions would be in the field of CTE would not be possible. The last picture I'm going to point out here is a student, and he is using a tire changer that was just purchased through referendum dollars. And specialized auto equipment, as I'm sure you can imagine, can be quite expensive.
Thank you, Dr. Hembrook. As she has stated, our vocational programs allocation is a little bit different than the elementary. Basically, we are funding about 20 teachers budgeted and 18 actual teachers for the new vocational programs. In addition to that, because as she stated prior, the rest of the funding, it depends on what is presented, and basically that is the equipment that they need to purchase to fund these particular programs. So there is no specific allocation for vocational programs. It is based on the need to support the programs that they have in addition to the 18 teachers. Their current budget is $2.2 million, and again, that's about 13%. And that's what we would expect this time of the year. 77% in capital outlay, which is basically the equipment that is used. Materials and supplies, of course, that's self-explanatory, the materials and supplies that they need, and the utilities is basically how we record fuel. So they might have taken some field trips, and that's what it is being charged to. It's not like the utilities in the building. Our charter schools did not submit a budget for vocational programs. Next, we'll move on to library and media. And the presentation for library media will be given by Erin Martin, who is our program specialist with Media Center.
Good afternoon, everyone. The bulk of referendum dollars that supports library media goes towards the salary and benefits of our library media specialists. So I always like to highlight, when I present to this committee, I always like to highlight what our media specialists have been able to do for us. For over 30 years, school library impact studies have consistently shown positive correlations between high-quality library programs and student achievement. 34 statewide studies suggest that students tend to earn better test scores in schools that have a strong library program. It's an often used motivational catchphrase, but readers truly are leaders. With the support of referendum dollars here in our Marion County Public Schools, we're able to provide our students the many benefits of having a state-certified library media specialist in each of our schools every day of the school year. This gives our students a greater opportunity of getting the right book in their hands at the right time. As you can see on the slide, our media specialists have circulated close to 121,000 books in just this first quarter. Furthermore, our media specialists have promoted our digital reading resource, Marion, to our students, where they've read an additional 54,000 books, or almost 1.5 million minutes worth of reading. Many adults fondly remember their school librarians from their childhood. Maybe it was a story that they read to the class, a special costume they wore. Sometimes those become a school tradition when students know that the school librarian is going to dress like Benjamin Franklin every year. Sometimes it's the way the library was decorated, a specific bulletin board, the experience of a book fair, or even the way the librarian found that one book you were looking for that you once saw a friend have, even though you couldn't remember the name of it. Yes, our school librarians do all of these things, but our childhood memories did not see that behind the scenes, our library media specialists also work diligently to procure and maintain a balanced and relevant collection of materials. They collaborate with teachers to provide timely instruction, linking library resources to current curriculum standards. They schedule and deliver internet safety lessons. They provide lessons to students in multi-tiered support systems. They teach the research process and research strategies. They manage and promote various reading incentives and resources on their campus, tie a shoe, dry a tear, and somehow find time to reshelve all of those books, among many, many other things, as they serve as a very busy hub of the school and the solid foundation of a culture of literacy.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. As you can see, this funding for the library media supports media specialists, as he indicated. We had originally budgeted 16, and we have 15.5 media specialists. We've spent about 14.8% of their budget of $1.4 million. Charter schools did apply for funds to be spent out of this program to the tune of $17,525. Next, we will take a look at our fine arts, visual arts, and also our fine arts performing, I think we've changed it, performing arts. So for those of you who know, this is our arts as well as the music program. And we have with us today Brooke Hutto, who is our new coordinator of fine arts, to share with you what's going on in that arena.
Good afternoon. It is my privilege to be here this afternoon to tell you all about the incredible things that is going on in fine arts and visual and performing arts. For our visual arts that you'll see up on the screen, we have elementary art students in 5th grade that have been busy preparing for their submissions for the annual Kids Tag Art program, which is sponsored by the Marion County Tax Collector's Office. They have an incredible opportunity for them to see their artwork brought to life. So parents have the opportunity to purchase art that students have created. They can purchase their art as a license plate. They can purchase it as a Christmas ornament, all these different opportunities. And that is sponsored by Marion County Tax Collector's Office, Woods Printing, and Jenkins Auto Group. And 100% of those proceeds will go back into those school art programs. All of our K-12 visual arts groups are currently preparing for Fine Arts for Ocala, their art festival, which happens on October 28th and 29th of this month. It is held in downtown Ocala. This is an incredible opportunity for students to see their artwork, both 2D and 3D pieces, on display and to show off their art to the community. Teachers will be displaying up to 25 pieces of their students' artwork that Friday afternoon. They will leave their schools and go down to downtown Ocala to set up all of their students' artwork. They have until 6 p.m. before judging starts. And then once judging starts, every student that is participating will receive a ribbon for participating. At the middle and high school level, there is one sponsored purchase award ribbon and a ribbon for 1st through 5th place. At the elementary level, there are 7 sponsored purchase awards, and students and parents have the option to mark their art as not for sale so that students aren't surprised if their artwork suddenly gets purchased. All award recipients will then be invited to an evening reception in December at the Appleton Museum of Art to honor those students and see their artwork displayed. There we go, performing arts, all right. So our performing arts students, which includes elementary music, theater, dance, band, choir, and orchestra, have already been hard at work for this school year. We have Spanish Heritage Festivals partaking at College Park Elementary. We have had fall concerts at all of our middle and high school programs. We have marching band competitions. The drama department has completed student one-acts where students create their own one-act program and then perform them in front of an audience over the course of a weekend. And they're also preparing for their FAFO student performances at Citizen Circle. Our teachers and students are currently honing their crafts and working together to showcase their talents. This past Saturday, I am proud to say that the Colt Stampede Marching Band from North Marion High School took first place in every caption, which includes music, visual, general effect, color guard, and percussion. And this is only their 2nd competition of the year. And they performed at Boone High School in Orlando. At the Madison Street Academy of Visual and Performing Arts, the Les Premiers 5th grade division, that's their dance group, performed at Stone Creek at an event that benefited the Boys and Girls Club of Ocala. And that event happened to raise $4,000 for the Boys and Girls Club of Ocala, so they were very pleased to be able to participate in that event. I am incredibly proud to also announce that 3 of our students from Dr. N.H. Jones Elementary School have been selected through a statewide audition-based process for the 2024 Elementary All-State Orff Ensemble. These talented students and their amazing teacher, Mrs. Naoko Wickline, will be traveling to the All-State Conference in Tampa in January to participate in this prestigious event. And this is, just so you're aware, this is an ORF ensemble, which is students who are performing on recorder. They're doing movement. They're performing on barred xylophones and other types of barred instruments. And it is a statewide process where hundreds of students audition to participate in this event every year. And from Tallahassee all the way to Miami-Dade County. And they only select about 30 to 35 students out of the entire state. All right. Okay, so we have some incredible upcoming performances. We would be honored if any of the members of the ICROC committee would like to join us. This Saturday, 19 bands from across the state of Florida will participate in the annual Ocala Marching Band Festival, which is held at Westport High School. The performances will start at 1:30 in the afternoon. They participate by category, so the size of their school, the size of their school's marching band, and then they have awards that are given that evening. The Marion County Middle School All-County Band is an event that is coming up that allows all the middle school band directors to select students to collaborate with their peers from other schools and rehearse with a master clinician that is brought in from another district, culminating in their performance that Friday night at the Riley Arts Center. As I mentioned before, we also have Fine Arts for Ocala next weekend, which will feature both visual and performing arts from across all of our different schools. We also have the MCPS Veterans Day celebration on Friday, November 10th, which will start at 11 o'clock in the morning at Veterans Memorial Park. This event allows our students in Marion County the opportunity to recognize and understand the importance of veterans in our community. The event is put on by the school system and will feature students performing patriotic selections as part of the celebration. We hope that you are able to attend this event as it is open to the public. The arts are essential, and with their strong emphasis on team building and self-reflection, they ignite students' interest in learning through collaboration, while simultaneously fostering creativity, critical thinking, and communication. They teach our students innumerable lessons. Practice makes perfect. Small differences can have large effects. Collaboration leads to creativity. The arts also teach children that there are several paths to take when approaching problems, and that all problems can have more than one solution. There's a strong correlation between regular involvement in the arts and improved test scores. The correlation extends through all socioeconomic classifications and for students with disabilities. Music, visual arts, theater, and dance each contribute a great deal to the development of a variety of skills by students. Students who engage with visual arts make positive gains in critical thinking skills, while theater strategies not only actively engage students in their learning process, but also offer additional pathways to assess learning. Music instruction helps develop parts of the brain associated with sensory and motor function, while engaging in dance education provides notable gains for early childhood language acquisition. There's also a correlation between visual arts training and awareness of spoken language in young readers. Thanks to the citizens of Marion County and those who have continued to say yes to the referendum, we were able to continue providing quality, comprehensive educational programs in visual and performing arts with a full-time art and music teacher at every school in Marion County, K to 12. We thank you to our citizens who continue to support these programs, and thank you to the committee for volunteering your time and service to the community.
Backwards a little bit here. She just got here, can you believe that? And all of these different programs are going on in K-12 setting. I would just like to bring to your attention, there is a correction. We had originally budgeted 0.5, so Ms. Hutto handles both the fine arts, the arts, as well as the music. It says 0 coordinators, but that should have read as 0.5 coordinators. 17.5 art teachers, and 7.5 paraprofessionals to support the art classes. They've also spent about 13.4% of the budget of $1.8 million, and our charter schools have submitted a budget of about $36,853 towards that. So the next section is, again, the music part of fine arts, and again, it should reflect 0.5 coordinator and 17.5 music teachers and 7.5 paraprofessionals. In addition to the general fund, which allocates money for bands at our high schools, the referendum has also provided additional funds to all of our music programs. And That is an additional $121,000, and that's something that would not have occurred if not for the referendum. 13.3% of that budget has been spent as of the end of September. Again, the same salaries, benefits, purchase services, materials and supplies, as well as some equipment and dues and fees. Some of the specific items are subscriptions, band instrument repairs. Also, there are some band consumables and other items such as the membership dues to the music program. Our next presenter will be Ms. Shawana Hughes, and she is our Director of Professional Leadership and Learning.
Good evening. One of the primary goals for our Professional Leadership and Learning Department is to retain Marion County Public Schools novice educators with less than 6 months of teaching experience and our early career educators. We do this through our induction and mentoring program. Each novice teacher is assigned an instructional talent developer, or ITD, who works alongside them to help them become acclimated to instructional practices and navigate their first year as a classroom teacher, school counselor, or social worker. The Instructional Talent Developer Lead provides monthly professional learning and support to our novice teachers and early career teachers. The ITD Lead also uses needs surveys from teachers and school-based data trends to design appropriate and relevant sessions to support novice and our early career teachers. The data display reflects the distribution of how funding will be utilized. $627,500 will fund Marion County Public Schools induction and mentoring program for our novice and early career teachers. $331,238 will be allocated to the 4 charter schools to support their new teacher programs. The overall cost will be $958,738. The remaining portion of the $47,300 is reserved for any novice or early career teachers that will join our district later in the school year. Our funds for consumables are split into 2 categories, consumables and non-consumables. The $10,000 earmarked for consumables were used to purchase new teacher starter supply kits and additional supplies for teacher professional learning. The $4,500 was for non-consumables, and it will be used to purchase professional learning resources. We believe that the induction and mentoring program will support our students as well as our teachers in helping to develop just strong relationships and retention.
No funds have been spent for professional development as of the end of September, but they have started activity in that program. Again, the budget is $958,000, and as Ms. Hughes mentioned, the charter schools they have requested $331,000, as they apparently understand the need of hiring and retaining teachers of quality and making sure they support their the new teachers that come aboard. Last but not least, we'll hear from Mr. Dennis McFadden, who is the Executive Director of Safety and Security, and he'll bring you up to date on what's going on in Marion County Public Schools in terms of safety.
Good afternoon, and thank you. Ensuring that students, staff, and visitors are provided with a safe learning and working environment is vitally important to the educational growth of all students of Marion County Public Schools. In 2017, 2 of our schools had door buzzers, and 10 to 12 schools had cameras. Fast forward to the present, and we can proudly say that we have at least 1 door buzzer at every school, with plans to install additional door buzzers to schools with unique circumstances. Every school has at least 8 cameras, with some having upwards of 32. As we move into a new referendum cycle, we are still committed to keeping schools safe. This commitment allows us to review our school hardening needs based on best practices and recommendations from district and school staff. The recommendations are: additional cameras will be added as needed to cover areas that was not covered during the first initial installation. Cameras are one of the most important and useful tools that also complements our door buzzer system. Additional door buzzers will be instituted for those schools with unique circumstances. The makeup of some schools may require a second door buzzer. This will be very rare at most schools. Electronic key card access will be explored over the next few months to determine the cost and what level of access we need. Are we going to install access to obtain a cost analysis for the, what we're going to do is have to do a cost analysis to try and determine what the cost will be. Knox boxes will be purchased to allow quick and easy access to our law enforcement partners. Responding and getting into our schools is a great priority in the event of an active assailant. 383 lock replacement to ensure exterior campuses gates are secured, and this is a start to better key control on all school campuses. Bidirectional amplifiers will be installed as needed. Once we get 800 megahertz radios, we can start doing and getting a sense of what we need for each one of our schools. School resource officers are one of the most visible forms of security we have. The district pays part of their salary out of the referendum. Providing equipment and physicals for some of the safe school staff with sworn status. The sworn status allows for an effective and quick response to safe school staff or by safe school staff if they are on or near a campus that can facilitate and partner with local law enforcement agencies. It has been stated that only thing that stops a bad guy with the gun is a good guy with the gun. Raptor printers and visitor calls are used to ensure that volunteers coming on school campus are screened to meet the Jessica Lunsford Act. So since May 1st of 2024 until October 10th of 2023, Safe Schools, 22, till October 2023, Safe Schools has processed 4,476 volunteer applications, which is about 800 applications a month. Finally, 800 megahertz radios, mobile and portable radios, will be our biggest and most anticipated project. This project will allow bus drivers to communicate directly with first responders in the event of an emergency, reducing the response time of law enforcement, fire, and emergency services when needed. We're also planning on placing these radios at our shelter sites to assist with communication during hurricanes. Finally, the Safe School staff will be equipped with these radios to help monitor radio traffic in the event of an active assailant at a school or district site.
So our last category of safe schools, this also is a little bit different than the schools allocation. As Mr. McFadden provided detailed information to you, you will see salary and benefits, which are a stipend that's paid to our guardians. Also, purchase services reflects the salary for SROs Most of it is paid out of between the referendum and our general fund. But this is a way to help offset that cost. And as he stated, materials and supplies, supporting safe schools. The charter schools have requested about $107,000 to be used at safe schools for their schools as well. So we're at superintendent's comments, or we can turn it back over to the chair and answer any questions that you have at this time.
Mr. Rizzo, would you be able to provide me the names of the presenters?
Yes, we will.
I'm not clear about our oversight of the charter schools. I'm not clear on whether the allocation that they got is separate from the allocation that the public school system got and that we have no control over that, or is it lumped in with the funds that are collected and we are to provide oversight for that?
Let's start with re-summarizing. The charter schools allocation is a part of the total cost, but I wanted to provide the request that they made to you so you're aware of it. And when the spending starts, we will also provide detail of what they're spending because we've requested that information to them. So I would say yes, oversight. These are all our kids. They're just situated at charter schools, but we will provide the detail of what they are using these funds for, specifically if they're a little bit different than what we do.
So you'll provide us also then the information about where are the charter schools and how many students they have and how many teachers that are new that they've hired and how this funding is provided to them?
Yes. This is the allocation. We will not provide it to them until we start receiving funding, which is probably in November or December. We'll begin allocating it to them, and they will provide to us a budget of how they're going to spend that. So we just don't have the detail, but we have to include them in our total budget, if that makes sense.
So my understanding is it's kind of like a projection?
Yes, this is their allocation based on the number of students. So you may recall that we measure students first with a projection, and that's all school districts. Then it is measured in the month of, right now, October. We're measuring the number of students. And so this is the way we receive funding and also the way that the charter schools receive their regular general fund. Okay. So in November, we will look at their projections versus what they actually have in terms of student, and then in terms of the students' population, and then we will adjust this allocation if it needs to be higher or lower. But for budgetary purposes, based on their projected enrollment, this is their projected allocation, and it is a part of the total budget. I'm sensing this is a little confusing. Yes, and you will provide oversight, but at this time, we don't have any actual expenditures from the charter schools to give you that detail.
Like on the professional leadership and learning, charter schools have requested $331,238 from a budget standpoint?
Yes. What we do is we provided them what their total dollar amount is, and we asked them where would they like to, where would they like this to be funded from. So they had the category of art, music, media, vocational, professional leadership and learning. So they gave us a forecast of where they thought they would like to spend those dollars.
Yeah, thank you, that makes sense.
It's a little new, and it's new to us as well.
Are they to provide funding for the same things then? reading, PE, music and stuff? Because you
Yes.
said that they did not yet request any money for the vocational programs.
Correct.
But we wouldn't necessarily expect them to have a vocational program, correct? So maybe they wouldn't ask for funding for that. So would that apply to the public school system too, that if we decided we're going to severely reduce a particular program, PE, art, vocational or whatever, that we could do that as well?
I wouldn't say severely reduced, but we are shifting funding based on the needs. So you probably have noticed that Safe Schools has increased because of the need. I tell people all the time, when Dr. Gullett got here, she was surprised that we had not put more emphasis on safe schools. So at that time, we had to shift. But what helps us to do that is that the referendum is based on property values. So our property values increase, so we can allocate more funding to safe schools based on the needs of our schools. And of course, we have a leadership team that looks at the needs and prioritize those needs.
And so that doesn't necessarily have anything allocated for charter schools yet?
The safe schools? Yes.
They did ask for some.
$107,000.
Maybe that part of the nature of that question was, it seems like the school system is trying to make a determination of, to do all these things that were asked for in, to do a little bit in each one and then prioritize the ones that seem more important. But maybe in the charter, they didn't want to do any in that particular area, but that's their prerogative to do it that way?
Correct.
Okay.
Because if you look at the language of the referendum, it doesn't say you'll spend 10% here, 20% here. It provided a broad array of things that we needed to support. And safety was added for the first renewal, safety was added at that time. So it was not a part of the first 4 years at all.
Gotcha.
All of the charter school expenditures will be, they will be reviewed, and we will require documentation, just like we do with any of the other grants. And I think for purposes of this committee, you're not aware that we do provide funding for charter schools, and in some instances, we're required to provide funding for private schools, and it is federally funded grants, and we would carry on the same way we handle the grants. We require documentation of how they're spending those dollars. We require them to submit a budget. The only thing different with the referendum is that we were given specific instructions of how to allocate these dollars to the charter schools. And it's based on their student enrollment over the entire enrollment of the school district, including charter schools. That's really the only difference, because we do fund charter schools with grants. They're our kids. They're just being educated at the charter school.
Any other questions? Thank you, Ms. Boston-Ellison, for each one of the speakers. We thank you for your time and for the information. On to new business. Under new business today, we have one listed item to discuss the meeting location and time. It's my understanding that previously these meetings were held in Brewster Hall on the campus of Marion Technical College. Since moving the MTI auditorium as well as televising these public meetings, this committee has struggled with attendance. I don't know who wouldn't want to be in this big cavernous room on television in front of all of this. If we were moved back to Brewster Hall, the meetings would be open to the public but no longer be video recorded. I would like to open discussion among the committee to recommend location you would prefer to hold our meetings in 2024.
I personally would prefer to have them here. I think it's a good venue and it seems more organized than the scattered room that we had at the other place. I don't necessarily think we need to have them video recorded. I don't know that that's a deterrent for anyone, but.
And I don't know, is that a requirement that it's video? It's not a requirement. So we can say we'd prefer not to have it video recorded? Okay, so that was one. Any other thoughts on that?
Well, the recording was in place because as accountability to the taxpayers, because not everybody can be present here, and to give them a highlight of all the good things that these funds are doing in our schools, and hoping that that would, in the future, help promote the tax referendum and when it's due for renewal. That was the whole purpose why the televised, we decided to televise the meetings.
Do we have any idea how many people are watching us?
But they can be accessed after the fact, right? Yeah, so it's there, like on the website or wherever, for people who have interest in doing it.
If it's not televised, they won't have access to it.
Yeah, correct. Any other thoughts on that? I mean, from my perspective, I think I would tend to agree. I think it's an oversight committee that's supposed to be doing it on behalf of the public. It's probably wise that we give them all the access possible.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so what about meeting here? Are we okay with keeping this location?
I am.
Yes. Has the decreased attendance have anything to do with us moving the meetings? I mean, you said since we've started meeting here, attendance has decreased. Is that, was that just timing, or is it location? Is it time? Is it day? Do we know those things?
Yeah.
It started declining from COVID.
After COVID, yeah.
The
Just seemed like-
communication could be a little ramped up. You know what I mean? I feel like just reminders, but that's all.
Okay.
I had it on my calendar.
So it sounds like there's a little bit of a gathering consensus that we continue to meet here.
Yes.
And we record it. What about times?
Would 5 o'clock maybe be better?
No.
Or 4?
4 works fine for me.
4 is fine with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with the time.
What about as far as the quarterly, the January, April, August, and October?
Me.
Okay. And then our Wednesdays, good for everybody?
I have a difficult time with Wednesdays. Thursdays works pretty good for me.
Okay.
Because I'm coming all the way from the villages.
Okay. Anyone have any strong preference on that if we moved it to Thursdays?
I think with enough notice, and we're giving 3 months, we're meeting quarterly, with enough notice, to change the day that works for the board members that are in regular attendance. I think that's a good idea,
What about from a school board and superintendent's perspective? Is a change to Thursday going to interfere as far as you guys and what your responsibilities are?
Does Tuesday work?
Yeah, Tuesday would work.
Okay, so Ken?
Thank you for your robust conversation and for following the script, Chair Osley. Thank you for understanding that MTI Auditorium, the availability and what we're going to be doing here. As far as the meeting date and time, we sent out a poll just to see which members could attend for our very first meeting. And the intention was that now that you all have convened, and essentially it will have additional members join you eventually, to determine what day of the week works best for those of you who are sitting here today, as well as if 4 o'clock is still the time. Now that we've confirmed that this will be the location, we can work on getting the dates that work for everybody's calendar. We just wanted to make sure that you all had the opportunity to weigh in. So we got this first one on the calendar to get us started, and then it'll be up to the chair to work with the board clerk to try to send out communication to get a couple of dates. We want to make sure that this room is available. So if you do move it to a Thursday, we'll probably move it on to a day that we might not have a school board work session already scheduled on a Thursday, just in the event that our work session runs long. So there's be some scheduling things like that we'll need to work on. But to your questions, as far as why folks haven't been attending, I don't know the answer to those. I'm not sure if it was the change of the date, if it was the change of the time. Some of it is, or even the location, some of it just has to do with communication. And I think now that we have some proper procedures and protocols in place, I think we'll be able to help with that moving forward. So did that answer all of your questions?
Yeah, so Tuesdays, Thursday, it's so,
Tuesdays are fine with me.
Okay.
I can do Tuesdays.
So every other Tuesday is a board meeting in this room at 5:30, so it would have to be on an off time of the board. Not to say that couldn't occur, but
What's going on Thursdays? Do we have board
Work
meetings on Thursdays?
Thursdays are work sessions. They begin at 9 a.m. So hypothetically, we should be in plenty of time to be concluded, and the room would already be set. There would just be a small tweaking that Mr. Christian and his team would have to do to add additional spaces. But the room would already be set. Or the hope is that we would be concluded long before you all would begin a meeting at 4. But can't guarantee that.
so being one of the new people to this, so typically for this meeting, how many of the staff from the school system are here? Is this a typical amount, or?
This is the typical amount of presentations and presenters you have.
So what works, is there a particular time, a particular day that would work better for you guys as staff? You got a lot on your plate, you're doing a lot. Is there a day that works better to be here from 4 to 5?
This works fine Wednesday or Thursday. Most of these same folks are at least watching a work session on Thursdays too. So is Wednesday a better day for your team, or Thursday? Does it matter? They're all shaking their head, it doesn't matter. This is up to you guys, what works best for your schedules. We're just trying to ensure that we have the most people involved as possible, a part of the committee. So if Thursdays worked better for the majority of the committee, then that's what we'll move forward with.
All right, I think that seems to be what we're going to try to do then. We'll try to keep it at 4 o'clock. We'll try to make it work on Thursdays, and then we'll work, I guess, with your staff to figure out the exact times in January, April, August, and October that will
Perfect.
work for a majority of the board.
Perfect. So what my expectation at this point will be that we'll just work towards getting some calendar dates and possibly having you all to already know your schedule for the entire year. So that would help you with planning purposes, and so potentially not having scheduling conflicts that come up. So
Okay, excellent.
terrific.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't see anywhere on my script where we have to make a motion for any of that. Robert's Rules of Order, are we good? I think there's consensus. I think we all agree on that time, so I guess we don't have to, that's set. So that being the case, is there any additional new business for the committee to consider?
We had, for the past 4 meetings or 3 meetings, we haven't been able to approve the meeting minutes.
Okay.
Can we take a motion to do that?
I'll make a motion that we approve any prior minutes that haven't been approved already.
And this one as well?
Next.
It'll be the next meeting, right, for this one? Yeah, so any of the previous meetings, the minutes, so there's a motion on the floor for any of the previous meetings, minutes that haven't been approved to be approved.
Diana Williams approved. Oh,
Is there a second?
by-
Second.
All right, there's a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Any other new business?
So you seconded? Okay.
All right, hearing none, I have a motion to adjourn this committee meeting.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.